How many do we have in Jim Thorpe?
We will leave promptly at 3:30.
What time do we get there?
They're saying around 11:30 today, more or less. Yesterday they planned on 12:05, and we actually had. They're going to try to sandwich us in ahead of that 12 o'clock train today instead of after it. So I think it's going to be a learning curve. And they're saying 11:30. It could be. Well, it can't be between 11:45 and 12 because the other train's in the station then. So if they can get us in ahead of it. This all one group from here.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's not.
I read it somewhere.
Dawn brought it up, so I didn't know where she put it.
It's that 2.5 hour ride.
Thank you.
Go get that paper.
Hello.
I believe it.
No.
But I did read it somewhere.
No, you didn't. No, I read it somewhere.
Yes, he has it. Yep, Derek has it. The guy in the short sleeve shirt somewhere back there.
Mm-hmm.
Much for the baby, right?
Yeah.
And they give us
And they worry about it. Put a little fire hot back, you know? And, yeah, they put that up every day, right?
No.
Well, whenever. You know what I'm saying? Three and a half hours on your home. You believe me?
We are crossing Route 61. We are now in the Reading and Northern Yard. This is our principal change point with Norfolk Southern. We are primarily a freight railroad, as you can see if you look out through the glass here. We carry about 34,000 carloads of freight a year, and that's the only reason we can afford to be here. When you get a chance to look at some of the track next to us, or after you're in the station today, you'll notice there's a tie every foot and a half, and they're retailing right now for 162 bucks a piece. And the ballast on the track costs about the same, and then the rail costs a lot more. You need labor to put it there and labor to maintain it, and you won't pay for that with passengers. That's why they pay the freight guys twice what they pay us.
Wait till we're past all this. You see some airplanes. I stopped with the MK yesterday. Oh, did you? How's she? Saw her the other week. She was on like Saturday. She just, and she wasn't. Sometimes she's preachy. She wasn't that either. She'll tell you. Oh, like, I felt
Oh, we need those.
to pass under Tuckerton Road.
Well, I don't know. I'm just, I mean, Mom never did anything like that. What are we doing? It's just
Morning, everyone. Welcome.
Morning, everybody.
WR on the left.
yeah, it's just like,
All those kind of trades.
I saw a couple of things for work.
We're about to pass under the road to nowhere. Now it's known as Route 222. Actually goes somewhere today.
So it doesn't ending now. Oh, really? Oh, but you still called for those?
Yeah, it's always cold. Because I had no way to get it. We both connected to another road.
Yeah, but you said they did.
Then they hooked the connector.
Right. That's what you said.
Yeah. And they built it to the house.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The old timer.
We are now passing over the Schuylkill River on the Peacock Lock Bridge. Very unique bridge. Unfortunately, you can't see it when you're riding in the train, but it's a stone bridge with all these little portholes in it to let, I guess, to let the water go through at flood stage. I'm not sure.
Oh my God, the big orange trees. What was that tree stand? That's a freaking huge tree stand.
Yeah, we are. You're right.
It's on the top of it.
Here we're not.
Yellow? Coming back to Earth.
Pink, red. Yeah.
I'll take a word. Big cake.
I saw something.
I just said now we've got so many years now without worrying about a dog or
Watch my map. It went out there. Points are coming out.
during the day, you know, like when we're out. I just
Anybody with trash? Nobody with trash?
Oh, I don't know. It's a marker.
If it's empty.
No, I want to mark our seat. Probably later.
Oh,
And I'm not upset.
well, let's see. There must be some way to tell. So you're the third one from that table back there, from the back.
Okay.
We do, but I just
Here, you can have
like
it.
Ranger, we're gonna have to put the ornaments at a certain height. Yeah.
Any trash? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any trash? Trash.
Yeah, it's one of the trees anymore.
I did, and I'll text her or call her for some reason. They have something. Well, was that 2 years ago? They had something.
Oh.
So,
Wow, the one that is
first.
Well, that's
Route 61. First traffic light after you get off the 222 bypass, that's what this is.
Okay, I'll call the desk. I can't come. I'm on a train going up to
This is the second railroad that we purchased in this area. We started out on the old Pennsylvania Railroad on the other side of the river originally. Back then we owned 13 miles. Well, we ran 13 miles and PennDOT owned 12 of them. And since then we bought the 12, but most of the business is over here. This is the old Reading lines over here. Trains used to go this way to Pottsville, Shamokin, Williamsport, Williamsburg. For whatever reason, the Reading Railroad in the days when they built this railroad bypassed almost every city between Reading and Hamburg, including Hamburg. They were on the west side of the river, decided they wanted to be there, and I guess they were big enough that they could do what they wanted. But the Pennsylvania Railroad is the one that ran through all the little towns over there.
But then I can tell you I had a tickle. You said sneeze, and now I had a tickle and I keep coughing, and then Melanie was like, "Don't you eat or something?" So we started looking. She was like, "Yeah, no, you're fine." But she goes, "You need to cough in the park. You can't sneeze." Everybody just like looks at you. I heard the train this morning.
We are coming into Leesport.
This like just arrived.
Quite a while now, it's all been one borough, but this used to be West Leesport. The site of the old railroad station is just on our left. See a little bit of the concrete sat on here. I don't, but I'd say maybe 35.
I guess on a helicopter one time I thought we were going like 40 miles an hour, and they said we're going 140.
Well, once you get up in the air, I mean, you don't feel anything.
What? No, I
Right. Well, that wasn't too bad, I guess.
I'm sorry, that was pretty informative back then.
Right. This is the Schuylkill River we're next to, of course. These days it looks pretty good. When I was a kid, it ran black.
Really?
So you could always tell when you came to the Schuylkill River because it was black. It was disgusting.
Okay, now it looks pretty.
My parents used to tell me how it used to be pretty. Well, they made it pretty again.
Yeah. We got to see both.
Right.
Did anyone swim in it when it was black?
I hope not.
They did.
But they did drink it down in Philadelphia.
They still do.
This is Spelman's Church Road in Dalberville. Again, if you're going north on 61, this is the first traffic light after you leave Leesport.
This is the culprit cat.
That trailer looks like it's seen better days.
No one lives there.
And 3 squirrels and 2 rabbits.
Yep.
Deer out there on the right.
Well, yeah.
What deer? I don't know.
Oh dear.
We should pick a camera out in our back. I'm curious to see what is in our yard.
You shoot in the alley. I see one actually. I know.
More.
Hell yeah. Yesterday we didn't see any deer till we were almost back. Some in a field here just as we got back.
But you just get a camera. You don't get
Sometimes we're really lucky, you see a lot of them, sometimes you don't.
Are they just the ring cameras?
The railroad forgot to hire them.
Yeah. What are they thinking?
Does that,
Robbie and Cody have
does it have
Reminds me when our children were young. Snowy day, just before Thanksgiving, I think, and these pheasants went by outside the window, and my older son said, "I'm surprised they let them out in a day like this."
And now you don't see pheasants.
No, I don't see them anymore.
They're not allowed.
That's an
They breed them
endangered
now.
species
And they
now.
put them out when it's hunting season. Because I saw some pheasant and I called about them, and they said they're not allowed to be free.
those little like
They're not allowed to be out there. They must have escaped the hunting season.
You'll notice the signals up ahead. They're green when you see them way out in the distance, or yellow on occasion. And then they'll turn red as the engine goes by. This is Mooresville.
That way when Don comes here and says anybody else made it, look back and say,
Oh, there they are filming it.
Oh, you'll see all the rail fans out here. Whenever we're on the steam engine, they're out there. And
How do they know?
They were waving.
Facebook. Well, it's not just that, you know. You'll see the same people at every crossing, you know. As soon as the train goes by, they're packing up and racing for the next one. And sometimes they're very entertaining. Now, we had a passenger coming out of Jim Thorpe one after. He said, "Hey, did you see that?" He said, "That guy's taking a picture, just ran into a tree."
He's probably thinking, I hope nobody saw that.
what is the dog?
Yeah, get a picture of that, right?
Yeah.
They're hunting cabins.
Still really partial paste.
That is pretty.
Hunting cabins.
Really, it's just as pretty here as it is over in the Lehigh Gorge.
Might have been all that house.
A lot of this is
It was like a biscuit.
really very nice along here. That's the problem with getting on at Port Clinton. They all miss this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I found out about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put it off them, but it doesn't. Oh, by the way, in response to your question, like half hour ago, I have to admit, though, I was burning up most of the night. It's been fun doing
We got so well. We brought a disc and we had gotten so we got the Italian food, which is, I love it. It's an Italian sandwich. So this just had
neither one of us will. All I ever did.
it didn't have tomatoes. Well, and to be honest with you, I said he was still
Position a truck out in front and right out the front door.
They did not.
Yeah, the house and out the back door. Food
The tomatoes, I
They would probably carry you.
Really?
Shoemaker's Hill.
Not to mention,
Keep off from the other side, like most shootouts.
That would be fun.
oh yeah, that would be good.
But he didn't like the hot one.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, it was different. That's all it is. The girls who got tuna melts, which I like, but I hate.
Demonstration of the flower guards at the Ready Kelvin station. I thought, we ought to take my wife either.
I'm glad you liked it.
Well, the guy had 150.
Debbie's on her way already. She said they're not going to do the training. She said, she's going to try to get her drunk. She's like,
She should be able to. She should be able to do different trainings.
Well,
Well, like she said, when she goes to the front, it almost sounded like she planned it. By the time she gets back, we'll probably leave. Hey, whoa, dude! Right here.
Here.
One more back. Everybody.
Here.
It says, then they pass.
So how long you been doing this?
I've been with the company either 28 or 29 years. I'm trying to remember. It started in '93. I used to sell tickets at Temple Station when we ran over there. You know, it's all part-time now. I don't, you know, if you want to make money, you do freight. I don't want to do that.
No, I don't blame you.
I'm retired anyway. I don't need it.
Hey, it's crazy. It's crazy that he needs it. Me.
So were you a conductor then?
No, I was a college professor for 35 years.
Oh, gotcha. Where'd you teach?
Kutztown.
Oh, that's cool.
What subject?
Math and computer science.
When did you retire?
2002.
Because my son went there. He got the first mathematical board.
Oh, really?
Pure math.
What was the name?
The World Track. He did a program on string theory. Yeah. My brother went there.
And when was he there?
See, he went in the military. He was in the Navy as a new, 2001 till 2000, 6 years, 7. Then he used the GI Bill.
Oh, okay.
And then he went to Kutztown and he took the pure math and he took computer science. He's a software engineer now.
Great.
And when they did the paper, his name's ahead of the professor's name.
Who?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
So 67 to 2002.
Right.
I'm good at math. That's what I took a guess. You said 35 years. That's why I took a random number.
Yeah.
So I'd say you were born 43, 42 then.
38.
Wow. I wasn't too far off though.
Well, I taught high school for a couple of years before I went to Kutztown.
Cool.
Yeah, because my dad was 31. His mom was 35. 1935.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but every
Here
night.
on the right, usually.
There today because they said they're there. Oh, they are.
Yep.
2 horses today. I don't see the goats. This is Bern. That's B-E-R-N-E, and that's over on the left. And if you blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah, here's his degree. His award.
It was 2012.
2012, he got the award.
And it was about the coax conjecture.
He made a program to try to discontinue things.
Yeah, that's great.
I went back there. I went to Rockford. I went to school. And it's been 30 years when I went to that algebra.
Right.
The kids were coming out of school, so they're faster at Rack. So my professor goes to me, "Give me your son." So I call my kid up and he says, "Dad, it's the ladders." Oh, what the hell are you talking about? So I go back to my professor. What the hell are these ladders? And she goes, "Don't talk to me no more. That's calculus."
Well, you know, I had a neighbor who was always fun to telling me that he had to take algebra. This is State Street, Hamburg.
Taking pictures there. See?
Yeah.
And we're going under Route 61.
There's Hamburg there. There's our town. There it is.
Oh, look at the traffic.
See our house.
You don't see
See our
it.
I can't see it. Where is it? It's on our church.
You can come too. Doors are open.
I think so. The big winter 78.
Coming up on Interstate 78.
And the crossing. And the crossing.
Grade crossing.
Yes.
That'd be the day.
Oh, imagine all these trucks slamming on their brakes.
On your left is Cabela's.
Here, remember the train tracks?
Yeah.
Trains going by? We're going by right now, Calvin.
3 months. He was a fireman and he was out on a trip in early December and they stopped at a water tower and the, just a minute, Kernsville Dam coming up on the right.
Oh, that's pretty.
So the engineer was used to putting his head out and looking, when they're in the right position. Well, there was this big ice thing, knocked his head off.
No.
And he just went home, he never went back.
Wow.
You blame him?
No.
Yeah, her dad drove the steamers, and then he got they put the train in a roundhouse to turn it around, and he climbed off the engine, and the wood floor broke when he stepped on it, and he fell. I don't know how many, like 20 feet down. That was the end of his driving trains.
I'm gonna say that's a bad.
Yeah, he busted up his legs and stuff, and then he, what did he do then? He worked in the roundhouse. I guess that's what he did. I don't know what he did, but that's how he finished his career, though. He couldn't run the trains no more.
They weren't terribly sympathetic back then either.
I think he ran the train from Enola to Reading or something. He ran that one all the time. And then he ran the one that ran out of Lebanon. I think he ran from Lebanon to Tower City or something, or went north. I forget.
It's probably the one that goes up through Indiantown Gap.
Yeah, he ran that one for a long
that's
time.
all gone at that end.
it's all gone,
We still own it from Goodspring.
Yeah.
Got a big propane customer down in Goodspring.
Can you ride the trains for free then? Because he could.
Well, no, it's not like it was in those days. Back then, the railroads would give a pass, and it was good on all the railroads.
Right, he went to Washington
But that
State.
doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I can ride here for free if I want to, but I'm on the train when I work, so I never do that.
Right.
Once in a while, they've had a company special, and I might have ridden that. But,
Her mom and dad went out to the West Coast on the
Yeah, they
train.
both got to ride free, and they had a sleeping
I
Had
have
a
to pay
coach,
for
everything.
that.
They don't do that anymore, huh?
No, it's been a long time. Well, almost the only passenger train you can go anywhere on anymore is Amtrak.
Oh, so that's not what you remember.
Right. That was Route 61 we just went under. This little section, back in the early days of the Reading Railroad, the river ran through where we're running now, and they rerouted the whole thing in here so they could fit the railroad in.
Wow.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, it'd take you 100 years to get a permit.
If you're lucky.
Now you got to get a permit to get a permit.
Yeah, they bogged it down, that's for sure.
You know, if you had the same rules back then that we have now, we'd still be 13 colonies on the East Coast.
Yeah, really.
We're coming into Port Clinton. This is the company headquarters.
Need some extra wheels.
A lot of stuff around here for building and fixing railroads. The building coming up, now actually we're going to probably not see most of this till they load the passengers on up at the front of the train.
Cody.
But the building coming up on the right here is the car repair shop. The building just up ahead on the left is the engine repair shop. We can do 6 engines at a time in there.
engine.
Oh my God. Seen better days.
Oh, I see.
Well, these guys are a little different. They got to know where you are every minute.
Well, that's what it is today, but it wasn't like that years ago.
What side of the F unit's on?
You didn't call into the
What side of the-
destination.
As we pass, they'll be on this on the right.
Cool.
They were there last night. I'm sure they didn't move them overnight.
Cool.
I never watched it. I didn't either. But this one was called.
Now this shop's only for diesel engines. There's a steam shop up about a mile further up here.
Oh, really? The other ones?
Now that's got to be a labor of love. You can't make any money on steam engines.
So what was the purpose of getting rid of the cabooses?
Oh, save money. Because every time you did a switch, you got to get the caboose off, do your work, put the caboose back. Oh, they must have saved 2/3 of their movements. And one of their big deals was they used to have to watch for passing trains, stuff hanging off, hot boxes, wheels melting, whatever. And now, here's the F units right here. And now they've got these little trackside detectors. The conductor picks it up on his radio, and the engineer tells you, the temperature of all the axles on the passing train, your train, not the passing one. Now we're about to cross the Schuylkill River, and we will say goodbye to the Schuylkill River at this point. That goes on up to Schuylkill Haven and Pottsville. We will be following the Little Schuylkill from here up to someplace above Tamaqua.
I got one of those.
Now you might be interested to know that this section of railroad that we're on here is one of the oldest in the country, from the early 1830s here at Port Clinton. And this is the steam roundhouse and shop area right here. So the trains along here were pulled by mules, and the rails were made out of wood. This is Port Clinton on our right. Town of Port Clinton.
They still serve the good breakfast there at the time.
I've never eaten. I've eaten at the Port Clinton Hotel once or twice for a meal, an evening meal, but I've.
Used to give you the meat platter for us.
No, wait, my phone was there.
Yeah, but I get too far away, you won't see it anyway.
Now we are entering the town of Molino. Molino is one of those 4 towns in Pennsylvania that's really enormous, only there's no houses in it. There's 4 like that. Snydertown up near between Shamokin and Sunbury is another one. We'll be in Molino for the next 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5. Now, as we come around this corner, if you look across the field to the left up here, you'll notice an old farmhouse right on the corner of 895 and 61. And that's the railroad police headquarters these days. Again, you know, Andy Muller thinks ahead.
What does he need?
He'd like, when the land next to the railroad comes up for sale, he'd like it to be sold to somebody who's likely to use the railroad. So this came up for sale and he bought it. In the meantime, we were using it for the police headquarters. Now, the field I was telling you about is coming up here on the left, and then as we go across this field, we're going to go under Route 61. And that's the last we'll see of Route 61 today.
Hey, Andrew. There are those big houses they're building on the top of that hill. 61 here.
You're getting the Baba. You getting the Baba? I didn't see your boutique yet. Okay. May I see them?
Now over there where the cars are running, that's Route 895. Also known as Summer Valley Road.
Especially if we want to take a train.
Jim Thorpe PA. Eric Andrea and Stan. That's all right. Are you okay? Well, can't you ring your buzzer?
Yeah, I'm not there. I'm not gonna fall.
This toll used to run on the Milwaukee Road.
I know. When I read the paper, I saw it.
Since you called me before.
Those cars, the car directly ahead of us and all the other ones up there with the roofs that look like that, are old Lackawanna Railroad commuter cars. They were built in 1917, ran out of Hoboken. They all had pantographs on the roof, and they were run with a motorman. They had traction motors. There wouldn't have been any engine. One or two lower cars up there. Those were old Philadelphia Reading Company cars out of Philadelphia. They were also electrified commuter cars. 1931. I think we're still in Molino.
trying a little.
You keep playing.
Nose, jelly,
Here comes Hawk Mountain.
Somebody made a positive error. Yeah.
When we stopped at
Dude, they're awesome.
she had a pineapple tree.
I know it.
Bud Miller was in yes.
No.
It's really sad because this is up my yard.
What's it called on it?
Almost there, so it's really funny when the there. I don't even know her. She like what do I mean she just got
Across to Albany on the other side.
They're parked there.
Used to be a passenger train through Reading, ran up through Albany to Slatington. We're on signal territory all through the years. It's all on signal. I don't know which ones, but I believe there's a few here and there. Many of them are automatic.
Do we have enough?
Once it gets you into one of those automatic locks,
It was the softest one on the shelf. That's why I got it. It was the softest one. Squeeze test.
that's still unused. We're working on that all summer. So they have what's called a form D. Statute. It's like 13-1. Some of them are things you can circle, some of them are things to write in. So the dispatcher will say 1-5, circle so-and-so, or 1-6, write in. He tells them what he wants on that form, and they have to read it back. He has to see that he got it back the way he got it. Then he gives them a time effective. And murder's no good without the time effective. Yeah. Now there's other things now from Nesquehonig Junction there where we meet the other train. Taylor and Jim Thorpe, that's a yard area. They're strictly rubber in there. They have to talk to each other and work it out. We don't use the time of yard. If it would have been big enough, if that yard, you're lucky to have 2 feet.
Yeah, she was with another.
Today, yeah, it was 2 feet for a while. Basically, the management
So the cops probably never got out.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the car.
Yeah, I mean, that's where they make their money. But they we're running a passenger train. Not like when you're out in the Amtrak union or somebody else's railroad.
Still there.
The law says Amtrak's a priority.
So the cops never probably got out of it.
Guess who gets priority?
Still doing
You
it.
can't well, I'm not a conductor. Instead of the yellow, the conductor has to be qualified on any section of the railroad.
When we're not
He has to be able to pass a test. He has to know where the signals are.
And they did it for years.
All the unusual, anything about it.
She has it rated.
Yeah, obviously.
Every year.
And then if we're not home and she goes in the shower, she takes it with her to the bathroom.
steps says warning.
I keep losing you.
Best place is bedroom.
You want to kill somebody. Just get a little bit of overconfidence.
Why do you want to?
Got it.
Could at least maybe
Right.
encourage her to turn around.
They saw that that was on that mattress, so she had it right by the door.
Yeah. Right.
Lots of streets I don't
A
know
lot
where
of
at.
people have accidents.
We're gonna call Brian Strauss over here.
We should know
And then we
better.
were
Hanging out there.
Well, let's get her. Let's
Now, a novice is usually still thinking.
let's at least get a frame down with the door up later.
and they had them all blocked and got through.
Because her room's so big.
And so one cop got through finally, and ground
Well, I'm not a good
banging
guy.
the glass and using bats on the top of the wall.
No.
Couldn't even get out because because they were all around me.
But on the freight trains, the conductor and engineer have to call the security.
The hard work. We didn't work.
Yes,
Well, you don't have to have it.
There's no, there's no.
Yeah, we all. I was just gonna tell you that. That's why it dropped the call.
I think a regular door actually is really
Yeah, probably.
Unless he's with me.
Might take it until she graduates.
What street were they on?
Mine's a little bit like
Right in front of City Hall.
Milwaukee Road.
The one you just.
Built them the way this
Oh.
had shorter down. I kind of like that because you can see out both ends. No matter where you're
Wow. I'll say. Yeah. I'll say. Then he said this was they got more crazy at City Hall. Yeah.
They suffered from was blood.
No.
Somebody used a blowtorch on it, or and they didn't know what they were doing.
No.
It starts to crack. Crack is gone.
I told him he makes some sauce.
No. I don't blame him.
Yeah. I mean, the only cure for it is you got to get ahead of the crack and put
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
a hole in it so it can't get any further. And yeah,
Wow.
they and depending on how bad it is, you may also have to then get some kind of repair over it.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to have a welder work on a stainless steel car unless you get 57 every week.
They said they were shooting on fireworks right in front of City Hall. There was thousands of them and rockets were going off everywhere. Oh my God. They said they were shooting them off like machine guns. Wow. Really? Yeah. Or some basic cops to work. I want to work until all really. Oh my God.
This is new Ringgold.
Just gonna go with that.
She's like, there's no need.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. I wonder if that's why those people moved just to get away from him.
Railroad police were out there too.
Yeah.
Very comfortable.
Of course, I don't know what my herd boys think. I like that. I don't understand how you can't work 11 jobs every
I like this kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thought of you when I got it. There we go.
My mama. I was like,
Talk about the smaller bags, you just, I'm like, and I felt that, I'm like, yep, it's a big bag. So they're saying something that was completely true. Only time you get that.
wow.
Yeah. Company's not going to transfer. Right there.
Did you drive off? There you go. Sounded out.
I'll say.
Started at Tamaqua Park and then Tamaqua Park.
Wow.
We're moving.
Oh my God! He said he was in there covering they were doing donuts around there.
Tell you what, my whipping in there saw some speed in 4 streets. It's insane. So municipal cops.
That couple probably quit.
So they paint those white lines.
Get him out.
On the street.
Yeah.
Their car, they when you pass the red line.
I'll
they
bet.
When you pass the second line, and they count 50 bucks on speed. That's how they take you for speed. So like, Kevin
Wow.
Chase took by
Even if someone else was with you, it
and
wouldn't
everybody.
help.
It's like, what speed? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a red light.
Yeah.
He's like,
Then they
I
run.
can't run speed there. He goes, we don't have lines. He goes, I can't do it. They don't like this driver being so uncontrolled. Keep seeing me.
Yeah.
He said, all right, just like park somewhere so you can see me.
Then they slow down.
And then they slow down. But he's like, I can't, on 4th Street, he goes, I can't ticket anybody for speed because we don't have lines. I can't calculate their speed.
So you can speed on 4th Street legally.
Oh.
Nobody can stop you. I mean, if they can't
They're not
have
going to
you.
pull you over for more than 25 because they have no way to calculate it. But
Wow.
he's like, most times people that are speeding are also running red lights. So he's
Yeah.
like, we're rolling through stop signs. So those are the things we really about. I guess he said there's some house or something that he said that would allow municipal cops to use radar guns. He's like, in that case, man, he was unplugging myself that state before they got there.
Yeah.
There was this one officer in Paris here. It was probably 5 o'clock, the light was yellow, and they just stopped until they went through. It was already red when they went through. It went through. I mean, it was like, right where it looks at me. They're probably going to get a second red light down at the end of town.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Who would it be? Yeah.
Okay, this
Oh, look at that.
might be deer in this area. There's no hunting allowed here.
Oh, this is the end.
They know it.
They step over and go,
This used to be Atlas Powder Company. Now it's Copperhead Chemical.
oh, that. Huh? Oh, is this a property?
Yeah. They were with the Lehigh Valley Gorge that we could open last year.
Looks like a condo.
Right there.
When the powder company moved out, we had a sand train a day coming in here, and they blow things up and then haul it away again.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is the way
Yeah. We were here. We'd go in that lake.
What's the bill right
Back
now?
in here, there's like a lake back by the trees.
I have no idea.
Things into creates like a big lake a little bit.
I think it's something like 4612 or something like that. Might be
Some rapids in it.
Alex, what's the real arrangement?
425 is a Pacific, a 462.
462.
Yes.
Two of the guys had a canoe.
Yeah, it does. Never argue with a rail fan.
We were like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Here comes Miss Dixon, aka the doll I call. Miss Dickerson, that's what I call this lady when we go by the quarry in a few minutes.
Oh,
You know that skeleton up front.
uh-huh.
Oh.
He's gonna get a matching pair of them.
The company police were back there again.
What do they actually do?
Sold out.
Well, they
I'm trying to get it.
follow us for one thing to watch what's going on, and they arrest people with ATMs on the railroad, people who are stealing things from the railroad, any trespasser on the railroad. You know, there's a limit to what you can do to eliminate ATM, and one of the things they do is. Now, this railroad was never built to go to Jim Thorpe. This railroad was supposed to go up to Mackinac City and Locust Summit, Shamokin and Williamsport, places like that. The railroad out of Jim Thorpe, they thought they were going to Chicago. So actually, the rail distance is considerably longer than the driving distance in this area. We're going to be passing Owl Creek Road up ahead here. I'll show you where it is. It's only 20 minutes drive from there to Jim Thorpe. But for us, it'll be about an hour and 10. When we see a highway again to the right, it'll be Route 309. It's not very far over there, it's just on the other side of it. I think it's right next to us now.
That's 309.
That's 309.
We're gonna have 10 days to decide. Or else it'll be used for the years.
That's making on a 0.5%.
2.4%.
Well, that's not too bad.
Emmerich laughed and said, why'd you do that?
We ain't gonna get hammered.
What's this town?
This is a little shopping center just south of Tamaqua.
Dustin, if it was Emmerich, he would told me, like, technically you can't. I said, I can't.
Where's it going?
Calvin can't.
329 for gas there.
Yeah, but there's only certain things you can actually do.
Probably. Usually is.
No, I plan on it, so I can't get to it because I have to smash there. I have access to it.
Owl Creek coming out right across the river here. The valley actually separates slightly just as it comes down to 209, goes into two sections, and Owl Creek Road's in the next one. As I said, from here to Jim Thorpe, it's about a 20-minute drive up Owl Creek Road.
Does it go up that mountain?
Well, it goes right down the valley there. You know, you're going up for a while. You never get to the top of a mountain though, and then it starts heading down again. Mount Chunk Lake's down there, and then you're down in Jim Thorpe on Broadway.
Is there a lot to do in Jim Thorpe?
I never much walk. I haven't walked around the town for 20 years probably.
Okay, it probably changed a lot in that time.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of food vendors right around the station.
And there's going to be food trucks there.
Yeah, and there's an ice cream place just below the station. I know about them because they're one of the basic food groups.
Yeah, that and cake. Cake is my favorite. Is it a good ice cream or?
Well, they have a soft ice cream, but I think they have some regular as well. I always get the soft one myself. Because they can infuse it with all kinds of flavors. So I always get the blueberry one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They can't do that with the hard ice cream.
No, you gotta get the flavor.
This is Tamaqua. Strange little building coming up on the left is the old telegraph office. It's now the company railroad office right here. And the old Tamaqua station's coming up next, right here. There's now a restaurant and an ice cream store in there. But the RDC came over from Pottsville ahead of us this morning. They might have stopped here.
What time do they leave?
I think they're about an hour ahead of. Well, they probably left Pottsville at 8 or 8:30, something like that.
Do they come from?
Website probably tells you.
Do they come from North? Do they go to Tamaqua Reading too then?
They go to Port Clinton, and then they have to change direction, head for Jim Thorpe.
Oh, so they
We're
come
on now. Just came off of 309, so we'll be. Tamaqua Tunnel coming up. Now, if you go up to Knoble's Grove, they got this little 15-foot concrete tunnel, and everybody screams.
Yeah. That's the fun part of it. Both ways.
Going over the little Schuylkill again.
Andrea. Yes. Annabella, she has a tissue.
It was moved there. The old dance hall's over there on the right. That's where they used to have that German festival every summer. Bavarian Festival, thank you.
Did you really? What?
Used to be 2 amusement parks here. That was part of one of them. The other was over here. You're going to see a lake going by on the left.
Surprise, surprise, I fell asleep.
A lot of people came up here by train in those days.
Was it Ann?
And they didn't have. And they didn't know who did it.
A pharmacy, sales, whatever.
Okay, now I'm trying again.
Oh my God.
That used to be a coal cogeneration station, but I think all those cogeneration stations have been closed down.
Oh, this was cold up
Ready?
Yeah. I might actually have a bicycle.
Ham, turkey sandwiches, pasta salad.
Again, you can see that plant up there. That's where 309 crosses the mountain. It's 81. Harry Truman crossed this when he was campaigning for president.
I see
Back
it.
of his private
Oh,
car, Magellan.
We're up there.
That's the same car. And they got that wonderful picture of him reading the newspaper announcement that Dewey had won the election.
Isn't that car still preserved somewhere? Isn't that car still preserved
Oh,
somewhere?
yeah, it's in a museum someplace.
Okay.
Not sure where. The narrator knows. He'll put it in his narration, but we can't pick that up.
Oh.
Yesterday,
It's very greeny.
There's the lock nest.
Yeah, she's going for a swim today. This is her cousin, Lady Nessie.
imagine that's pretty cold.
I think she's just a plesiosaur that they thought was something else that they found.
Is that what you think for real?
I think so. Is that what this place is?
Yep.
I thought it was the fire department.
I thought it was a Ford dealership.
Apparently there is one around here too.
That fire truck's in Boston.
Nesquehonig.
The last time I drove through
The
there.
3 o'clock Gorge train departs, and we will leave promptly at 3:30. When you get off, you know about the steps up here, but as you get off the steps, remember that they are steep and narrow. Please go down slowly. Keep your heels in the back of the steps. Use the handrails. Nothing spoils a train ride like falling out of the train.
Throw mama from the train.
Where's the
Coming up on the left is an old new tan building with no end. We don't take any reservations for the Gorge train in October because half the people miss it because they're trying to find a parking spot.
the